Okay, guys, I'm here at Ground Zero with all the goodies. All kinds of stuff. Let's start over here. The big old pile of gauges that was in this box. This is a John Reiner Company AC volt gauge. Nice, real nice shape. It needs some paint. This is a John Reiner and Company AC amp gauge. These two I'm probably going to use in conjunction with my Variac and build a box because I don't like the gauge that's on my Variac. It's not accurate, and these two ought to do me pretty good. I'll be able to tell AC amps, and I'll be able to tell AC volts. Here we have a elapsed time meter. A couple trouble gauges, as they're called. Got several of these ACE DC milliampere gauges. Here's a really heavy DC milliampere gauge. I don't know a maker on this one, but it's a nice gauge. Here we have some Alarmtronics engineering gauges. Like I said, this guy was in the alarm business. Here's a Potter gauge. It goes from 0 to 50. This is a frequency meter. Some of these gauges, most of these gauges are John Reiner and Company. I've never heard of them before. Got some colored, find it here, colored shades. Got a couple of them. What else is down here? We got some gauges like out of a tape deck for record levels. Several of them. Found a cute little selenium rectifier. It's a little guy. Some miscellaneous hardware. Tubes, a few small tubes. There's some 12AX7s in here. A couple of these are 5727s. Some pilot lights. I expect these are probably some kind of a neon tube. These are filament transformers. And they say, I don't know if the camera will make it out or not, filament transformer, 115 volt, 60 operating cycles, filament, 6.3 volts. I got a couple, and that one's pretty rough, like somebody's picked the winding to get in there and repair it. This one's in a little bit better shape. There's some relays. Over here we have a whole mess of push-button switches. Probably about a dozen or so of them. New in-box Sylvania transistor. Tube socket. Here's a potentiometer from something. We got a couple other push buttons, micro switches. In this box, there's not a whole lot to write home about. Got a few rocker switches, some brand new resistors. Over here, we have a whole mess of terminal strips I found. I got some old, outdated electrolytic capacitors. This one's a pyramid. This one's a royal lytic capacitor, long life, 8 microfarad. Here's a Sprague atom. An Aerovox, 200 DC working volts. Here's some small, what are these? Spragues. Not sure what that is. The writing Sprague will off. And here's some more of these gauges I was telling you guys about. It's got the reset button on them. It says push button, but it has caution, replace battery, right about 3 volts, or 3 on the scale. These don't have a maker's name. They just have like a positive negative connection on the back. And there's probably about a dozen or so of them there. Need some stuff. This whole box right here, if anybody needs relays, let me know. I don't need any of this stuff. This was bought with the gauges. The whole box came to me for $1. But there's all kinds of relays in here. Like that one shows the connections. Some of them's even got the sockets attached to them, like that one pulls off like a tube socket. There's some you can see through. Some of them are kind of cool looking. It says Potter and Brumfield, made in USA, 110 volt DC. There's some big ones in here too, massive. One of these I found, where is it, back here? That's not the one I'm thinking. I guess that's date coded the 23rd week of 1973. So, there's that part of just a little bit of the stuff that we found. There's an old porcelain fuse holder. A lot of junk and a lot of miscellaneous. I think these are alarm boxes is what these are. They're painted red. Like you'd have the other side of this that have an alarm pole for a fire alarm. I've got 4 of these, I think, that come in this box. 3 of them. I got 3 of them. So, there's looking at that. Now let's pause the camera and get into this box over here. Test equipment. Good stuff in there.